If you're moving to Happy Valley, this video is where you're going to want to start. Here's the thing about Happy Valley. It might have the most awkward boundaries of any city in the Portland metro. And depending on where you're at, you could be dealing with different school districts, different taxes, different services, and definitely a different day-to-day lifestyle. Let me show you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Living in Oregon. I'm your host, Seth Marchant, licensed real estate broker in the state of Oregon and Washington. Or if you're new to this channel, we show you what it's like to live here. We've got hundreds of videos on the channel. Make sure and subscribe. We've got new videos every single week, really digging into the neighborhoods of the Portland, Vancouver metro, showing you what it's like to live here. All right, let's dig into this awkward map of Happy Valley. And as you can see, like I mentioned, this is going to be about the most awkward boundaries that you'll find anywhere in kind of the Portland metro. And so why is this? Well, the map has sort of been kind of, the city rather has sort of been a piecemeal together over the years, kind of like subdivision by subdivision. You might even find a few islands here and there. So very important to point out, because a lot of people that are watching this channel are watching because they're thinking about moving here. So a lot of these people are buying homes, some people are renting. And the reason why I point this out is because if you're searching, these boundaries are really going to affect things. So this is the zip code 97068 for Happy Valley. And as you can see, Sunnyside Road right down here at the very bottom of the zip code that borders the zip code is the major throughway. But of course, below Sunnyside Road is also Happy Valley. And so this is going to get a little bit confusing for some people. So this area below Sunnyside Road, what area is that? Well, that is actually zip code 97015. What's 97015? Well, that is actually Clackamas. Clackamas is a little tiny unincorporated area in Clackamas County. So let me show you where it can get a little bit awkward and confusing. A lot of people searching for homes have their favorite website, Zillow, Redfin, or Realtor.com, or three of the bigger ones. So if we look at searching for homes on Zillow, this is what Zillow shows us to be the Happy Valley boundaries. Going to look very similar to that zip code 97068 that we just saw, but of course certainly not anywhere near the actual Happy Valley boundaries. But what if we look at Redfin? Well, Redfin is going to be a lot closer to the boundaries of Happy Valley. Maybe not exact, but a lot closer. But Realtor.com, if I look at Realtor.com, it seems to be kind of like a hybrid of the two. I'm not sure which one is going to, obviously Redfin's going to be a little bit more accurate. Zillow's a little bit easier on the eyes, but depending on what website you're shopping on, this is going to impact some of the search results that you get. And you're going to get some places that maybe say Happy Valley, like down here, when in actuality, you're maybe in unincorporated Clackamas County, and that's going to affect some of your services. So being that this is a map video, I want you to be mindful of boundaries throughout this video, because they are going to make a big difference whether you're shopping online for a home for sale or perhaps if you're a renter. Not going to make as much of a difference as a renter, because you don't have to worry about some of these things. The landlord will. But maybe if it's like schools, for example, I'm going to get into schools. There is a very important distinction for schools as one of many examples about why you should care about the boundaries in Happy Valley. But before we do that, I want to share with you real quick, because like I said, lots of people that are watching this channel are buying homes. Let me give you a buyer's checklist. If I were to buy a home in Happy Valley, as you probably know, there's quite a bit of elevation and sloping in Happy Valley. The first thing that I would really look at before we get into these neighborhoods and I really break down the map for you, I would be looking at how the house sits on the lot. What is the drainage like? What is the actual usability of the backyard or of the driveway? Sometimes these things really kind of go unnoticed when you're touring a home. You're gonna find a lot of sloping in Happy Valley. Just driving up Sunnyside, you'll probably see that. There's a lot of homes that are large structures, like 3,000-4,000 square feet, but they're on smaller lots, like a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot lot. So you'll see like a lot of 3 levels and a lot of very sloped backyards in some of these neighborhoods in Happy Valley. The next thing I would look at, is it actually in Happy Valley limits, or is it somewhere like down here in unincorporated Clackamas County, of which a lot of these homes, like if you're searching on a Redfin, for example, or Realtor.com, these homes are going to have Happy Valley addresses. So people searching online for those homes are going to just naturally assume that you're actually within city limits, but that's not always going to be the case. And then are the utilities within city limits, or is it going to be something else? Now, a lot of the services actually in this kind of unincorporated Clackamas County area just south of Happy Valley down here actually are going to be the same service providers that people within the city limits enjoy. A very common question these days, like, is police, what's the police response time like? We hear that a lot more in Portland than the suburbs, but still hear it sometimes. So what does that mean if you're outside of city limits in Happy Valley? Well, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office is right over here where you see Costco, and Clackamas County Sheriffs patrol this area, and they're very prominent. But Happy Valley Police are also deputized by the Clackamas County Sheriff's Department. So Happy Valley Police can also respond to calls in this area. So it's not the case, because we've heard this complaint before. Actually just heard it a couple of days ago. Check this out. Officer took 20 minutes to respond to attempted kidnapping due to limited staffing, Portland police saying. This was on the waterfront, a very, very busy place. So we've heard these complaints kind of a lot over the years. Not going to be the case in Happy Valley. So if you are in unincorporated, you're not going to have to worry about that. Another big thing when it comes to utilities, a lot of people, if you've been outside of the city before, you might be on septic or well, and that's usually not going to actually be the case down here in unincorporated Happy Valley, Clackamas County. Most of the time you're going to be on city sewer and city water. You have to go farther out east, like towards Damascus, when you start to find homes that are going to be on septic and well more commonly. And the next thing I would look at is what are the property taxes? That's going to vary a little bit too. If you're within the city, you're going to pay some city taxes in the city that you wouldn't pay if you were in unincorporated Clackamas County. And there are hundreds of tax code areas. So taxes are property taxes are going to vary quite a bit. And then what is the actual commute time? Because like I mentioned, Sunnyside, the major throughway, which is kind of right here, probably the biggest complaint for people living in Happy Valley, one of the biggest complaints, is that this road, one kind of major throughway for this area that is very rapidly growing, can become very, very congested. So if you're out here on the east side closer to Damascus, getting over here to 205 or to like the 224 to make up to like over to 99 to get downtown, you could add a good solid 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit more if you're kind of hitting that at like peak rush hour congestion time. And I say rush hour like there's an actual rush hour like there used to be. I mean, rush hour seems like it lasts for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning and afternoon or evening every single day. So it's not a rush hour. It's more consistent. So keep that in mind too if you are very commute conscious. Okay, let's dig into some of these neighborhoods. I'm going to break Happy Valley down. You could break it down into a number of different ways, but it's easiest probably is as far as people living there, the feel and where you're going to kind of spend your time and amenities and things you're going to do. You can actually kind of break Happy Valley down into quadrants. And so kind of the northwest quadrant, I'm going to refer to this as like, this is kind of the original hilly hillside of Happy Valley. And I say original because development is working its way out east towards Damascus, pushing towards the urban growth boundary. So this area got developed closer to like 60, 70, 80 years ago. So you're going to find some older homes there. You're going to find a variety of homes there. Can get a little bit rural and windy up here. So it's got a little bit of a different feel to it than some of the rest of Happy Valley. So you're going to see a lot more like mature trees, hillside lots. This is where a lot of your city views are going to come from. If you want to have some really great city views, those exist right here in Mount Scott. In fact, let me pull up a home here that's currently on the market. That's a great example of that. Listed by Steve Nassar with a Premier Property Group. This is pretty much quintessential for the types of homes that sit up at the top of Mount Scott. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 square feet. Really incredible sweeping views of the city. And in this case, the mountain is to the east. This home also has views to the east. So views of west and the east, like I mentioned, it's very sweeping. And this is also going to be an area where slope is going to be a consideration, obviously, because we've got that elevation. So this area is going to be a little bit, it's not going to be kind of more of the kind of the master planned types of subdivisions that we're going to see a little bit when we get out further east, where you're going to find those newer developments. And this will also be one of the best locations, of course, for your easy I-205 access. Next, my next quadrant, and this is going to be very important for schools, it's going to be the northeast quadrant. So this is where the boundary over here becomes very important for schools. Let me show you the school district boundaries for Happy Valley. You can see this kind of corner right here, and this is for the primary. This corner right here is also Happy Valley. Let me take you back to the map. So we're getting into this corner right here. And here's the thing about this corner right here. This does feed into Pleasant Valley Elementary School, which is a very highly rated elementary school, but it is in a different school district, Centennial, rather than the school district where Clackamas High School and Adrian C. Nelson High School are at. So totally different high school and middle school that is not rated as highly as what's in Happy Valley. So you've got a great primary school up here, but some people keep taking notice of middle school and high school. Now, as far as like the general area, this is going to be kind of your newer built out subdivision. This is where Scouters Mountain is. There's a bunch of builders in here they're building multi-phase. Will be building out for years and years. I'm not even sure actually when they are set to end, maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now. So if you want a new construction, there's a lot of new construction going on in this corner around Scouters Mountain, up here in this upper right-hand corner, and down here in Rock Creek. And a little fun fact, Scouters Mountain is a extinct lava dome. Not the only one actually in Portland. We've got a few of those around here. There's quite a few trails and places to hike around in Happy Valley, but if that's something that you're a little bit more focused on, this is going to be probably your top choice, this kind of northwest quadrant. Also going to find a lot of hills here. The houses here that have views are mostly going to be facing east towards Mount Hood. The other thing for maybe some people to consider about this northwest and northeast side is that wintertime can now become a consideration for some people. We've had a lot more snow and ice over the last 3, 4, 5 years. A lot more people are working from home, so they don't have to leave home as much. But you got quite a bit of elevation and slope in these northeast and northwest quadrants of Happy Valley. And so if you are worried about potentially getting stuck for maybe a couple days a year, you might look down to the south side. So southwest, I'm going to call this area, this is the convenient sunny side area. So this is more getting into unincorporated. So if you're shopping online, you're going to find a lot of Happy Valley addresses, but you will actually be in some cases Clackamas, in some cases unincorporated Clackamas County. Clackamas is also an unincorporated census designated area within Clackamas County. Now this is kind of, I call this the kind of convenient and commercial area because this is where all of your shopping is. There's a Costco here. There's the Clackamas Town Center here. There's the Clackamas Promenade here. There's the Target here. Restaurants, everything you could possibly want is going to be over here. But I will also mention, for the people out east, there is quite a bit out here anchored by a Fred Meyer. All of this development is kind of developed in the last 10 or 20 years. You also have a New Seasons. There is also a grocery outlet if you're looking for budget groceries. But for sure, being over here on this side of Happy Valley is going to give you the most convenience, access to 224 and 205. All of your shopping, it's not going to feel nearly as suburban, which is largely kind of how Happy Valley feels. Happy Valley does not have its own sort of like downtown, old town, town center like a surrounding Milwaukee, Oregon City, or West Linn would all have. So it's got a much more suburban feel to it. The lifestyle in Happy Valley is more sports, trails, parks, proximity to Mount Hood. If you want to be close to Mount Hood, this will be one of your best places to still be within the Portland metro. You're going to be 45 minutes to maybe an hour away from Mount Hood. And I would say Happy Valley's outdoor appeal is probably actually a little bit underrated. You don't have some of the river access on the Clackamas or Willamette or Tualatin like some of the other towns do. Now you do have the Clackamas down here in unincorporated, but Happy Valley itself doesn't really have kind of like a body of water like some of the other places do, but it's got tons and tons. It's a great place if you're somebody that likes to be able to walk from your front door because there's so many trails and parks, paved areas. It is, like I've mentioned, more newly developed, and then just your proximity to all of the hiking trails. If you're a big hiker, your best hiking, probably, frankly, and I would consider myself a hiker. I haven't done a whole lot of hiking lately. I spent all my time doing real estate and family and making these videos and stuff like that. But I used to be a hiker, still consider myself one. So I know a little bit about these things, and all of the good the vast majority, I shouldn't say all, of course, the vast majority of the good hiking in Oregon is over here around Mount Hood and up the gorge. It's not nearly as developed out here towards the coast. There's some cool hikes. It's beautiful out here. It just doesn't exist to the degree that it does up the gorge and around Mount Hood. So having that proximity to all of this is a sort of a hiker's dream. And then finally, let's get into my southeastern quadrant, this area down here. It's going to be flatter down here. There is some new development. If you are looking for a newer home, they tend to be further east, whereas the homes around here, kind of like if you see where Clackamas High School, kind of getting into that south of Sunnyside, this area down here, those homes are kind of more mid-century. You can find some newer stuff here in the last decade or so, the further you get closer to 172nd. Now, this is where the boundaries really start to I don't know if I would say blur, but they're really going to vary. You're going to see a lot of Happy Valley addresses when you're not actually in the city. It's going to feel much more rural. Once you get past 172nd right here, and Damascus used to be incorporated, it's now currently an unincorporated town, but anywhere once you get east of this 172nd, you're going to start to see kind of like rolling hills and farms and cows and horses and things like that. It's going to give you a much more rural feel. So if you do want something a little bit more rural, but maybe you don't want to be out there, there's a lot of choices out here kind of on the urban growth boundary edge of what I'm calling the growth edge of the southeastern quadrant of Happy Valley. Now, if you want to dig more into kind of the whole entire metro, we've got a great relocation guide. If you want to hit the QR code, and that'll take you to a place where you can input your information, we'll send it over to you. And of course, if you have more questions about what it's like to live in Happy Valley, we've got more videos on Happy Valley and more videos coming. Like I said, this is a great place to start to kind of get a lay of the land, get acquainted, and like I said, kind of maybe figure out what some of those more important boundaries are for like schools or taxes or anything else. So make sure and subscribe if you want to see more videos on Happy Valley and what it's like to live in Oregon. And as a reminder, I'm a licensed real estate broker. I have helped many, many, many people, probably lost track at this point. We help people every single month that watch this channel who are thinking about relocating to Oregon or Southwest Washington, hence the name, the Oregon Relocation Team. So if you're one of those people that has questions, you can call, text, email. It's never too early to get in touch. If you just want to shoot us a message, whatever it may be, you can find all the contact information in the description of this video below. And of course, if you just want to kind of get a little bit more information, the Reload Guide is a good place to start. Of course, again, make sure and subscribe if you want to see me show up again in your feed. And until next time, take care, everyone.